All right, hello everyone. So happy to be on stream here once again. I think the last time I did a stream was a couple of weeks back. We're talking to a few projects, but today's stream is gonna be somewhat a little bit different. And if you just tune in, you probably saw the banner or the poster on the various social media platforms that Huobi has. In today's show, we have two guests. Unfortunately, one of them is not feeling well, and therefore we have these two guests joining us. These guys are also streaming on the Huobi app itself. So I'm not sure about you guys, but right before we started chatting, before we came out live with Arthur and Roshan, we'll get them to introduce themselves later on. I woke up and got liquidated on my small position on my Bitcoin long because Bitcoin went below 20,000 for a brief period. And right now, I think everybody do agree that we are currently in a bear market. So in today's show, the show is actually titled Navigating the Bear Market, right? So in today's show, is gonna be the first episode or the first of the series that we're gonna run on a weekly basis, where we'll come in every Friday night. It might be different KOLs, it might be the same people again, but we're just gonna have very light-hearted, casual conversations about the current market, what's the outlook, what each and every one of us feel. Because at the end of the day, everybody has their own perspective on what the market is, how the market is gonna be like, what is gonna be happening in the next 3 to 6 months. So if you will, you can think of this like a mini podcast or a mini talk show, if you will. I'm not Jimmy Kimmel, but I wish I was. Then I'll be able to do a bit more jokes, right? Yeah. So we try to make this a little bit more interactive. So there is audiences that can actually ask questions in the chat room, and periodically we will do check the chat room as well. And with that said, I also have to mention that anything that is mentioned on this show is gonna be not financial advice. It's not going to constitute as financial advice. Always do your own research before investing any money into any financial instruments or financial vehicles. And last but not least, if you guys want to see more of these, do hit the like button so that we can tell the management that, hey, we want to have this next week as well. So without further ado, let me bring up the guests, Roshan and Arthur, and maybe get them to introduce themselves. So let's start with Roshan, and then we go with Arthur.
Right. So good night to everyone, since everyone's here now, wherever you guys are. My name is Roshan, and I have a TikTok and YouTube channel named Everything Dollar Making, if you guys are familiar with that. So basically, that is all about me. Further information will come later on during the live.
Right.
Yeah, I'm Arthur Lee. Most people just call me Art, but yeah, I've been in the blockchain crypto space since 2017. Started off being an ICO advisor and doing a lot of marketing for ICOs. So it's been very interesting times. I'm a big believer in just the innovation that comes out of the space, whether it be cryptocurrencies themselves and what it's disrupting, or the usage of blockchain in the many different industries. So yeah, I mean, I've always been in technology. It's been over 20 years, and it's a big thing that's kind of change a lot of things in the world. And yeah, so I'm happy to be here on the Huobi Live tonight.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming, man. I mean, it's 8:30 for everyone. We can go grab a quick meal right after this. So right before the stream, we were talking about my liquidation, right? So how do you guys feel about the market right now? I believe that almost everybody is probably in the red unless you are trading futures and contracts, and you have to be really good at it.
Sure.
Otherwise, you are just taking a gamble, right? So how do you guys feel about the market, like maybe this week? I think so today's Friday, right? So the last week has been pretty exciting. So how do you guys feel, man?
Well, I would say you said talk about gambling. I feel like it's all a gamble, right? I mean, when I was doing my Huobi Live the other night in the stream, I was just saying that making the point that crypto is not for a poor man's game.
Right.
Like a lot of uses of crypto in underserved countries and emerging markets, fine, I get it. But when you're talking about putting your money in and investing, I mean, just my perspective, and most people I talk to, they're putting that money out there, and they're okay. Well, they're not okay, but they're willing to lose it all. Let's just say that, right? So at least that's diversifying your total allocation of investments in a portion just to crypto, whatever you're comfortable with. I think is just the main point. And you know what? I think the market is doing a self correction, as all markets tend to do. Whether or not it'll bounce back as cryptos, it has bounced back many times. I do believe that it will bounce back. How it will bounce back, it'll probably look a little bit different. But I think there's a lot of similarities to the I guess the bear market in 2018, meaning that, it's kind of like if you look at any company or project that's has funding to do something, if they have nothing to offer in their coin, most likely they're going to be out. They're not going to make it. So it's kind of like a cleansing period. And to me, I'm happy with that, because sometimes after a while, there's just a lot of BS coins out there making too much noise, and it's just kind of good cleansing period. So I'm actually looking forward to when things maybe feel a little bit more stable. Still going to be a little bit of a gamble, I guess you can say. But yeah, I'm definitely waiting for the time to just get back in some of the coins that I'm really favoring. Yep.
Yeah, I'll have to actually agree with Art, because during the previous bull run, there used to be so much of hype about different projects, and many of the projects actually don't really give that much utility. There used to be a lot of good projects, but people tend to oversee them because the good projects were not doing as well as the hype projects. So people tend to not focus on investing anymore. It was all about a gambling game, more of which next coin is going to go pump up to 100%, 200%. So this bear market is like key, because I think it just overpopulated the market with hype, and the essence of investing in something you believe in or you understand in, it just kind of diluted in people's minds. So now it's amazing, because yes, it's the bear market. People are losing a lot of money. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of pain in the market. And I think even this whole crypto cycle, a lot of new people joined crypto. That's why it's grown so big, and a lot of new people joined. So there are people who don't really understand how the market works, and some of them who don't understand what's going on with the bear market, like why is it crashing and what's going on, will it ever recover, will I ever get back my funds, and knowing it's paper loss, they don't really understand this. So sometimes they tend to over leverage. A lot of things are going on right now, but I think it's good that they take time to learn it now, so that for the next bull run they are much more well prepared, so that they can handle it and earn much better. Because the bear market is where you actually build your wealth, because you're able to buy coins for so much more lower prices. And the bull market is when you're actually just sitting back and relaxing after accumulating during the bear market, because buying during the bull market is just even more riskier. Everything is just going up and up. You don't know when it's going to end. You're like, okay, today is going down. Okay, perfect. Let me buy like some coins, and you see next morning it's already gone up. So it's risky to buy in the bull market, but I feel like whoever is still supporting the crypto community in the bear market is the people who understand, and they are definitely going to make so much more profits by the time the next bull run starts.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do agree, right? So I think that in bear markets is where you really start learning about the technology, or really learn the foundation or fundamentals of the project that you are looking at. And that is where, when the bull market starts, or because we all know the bull market is not going to go like this and then it goes up this way overnight, right? It's a slow gradual climb, and then that is where you can start entering your positions as well. Yeah. So before we start the show proper, right, I want to put it out there that for both of you guys that are right in the show right now with me, you guys do stand to win some prizes from Huobi. Unfortunately for me, it's my job, so I do not get paid. And okay, so for both of you guys, we do have some prizes that you guys can win. And for those that are in the chat rooms watching this stream right now, by smashing the like button, sharing this video, you stand to win some candy drops as well. So I think candy drop has been an event that's been running for quite a while. That is where you're able to get free tokens, right? So so let me just cut to the event rules for a while, so that everyone can just take a quick look. So for Roshan and from Art, right, you are able to win 100 USDT compliments from Huobi, right? So the rules are very simple. So at the last question that we have for today, we just need to share your opinions, or it can be a statement, it can be an advice, it can be whatever it is, right? And we will go through a vote. So whoever gets the most votes wins 100 USDT. And for those that are voting, right, you do get to win the candy drops as well. To access candy drops, all you have to do is to go onto your app. There will be big banners on the app that allows you to enter the candy drops straight away. But please do vote for either Roshan or for Art, so they both get $100 USDT, and they can do whatever they want with it. If you want my USDT address, I will pass it to you right after the show. Yeah. So those are the two things that will be happening tonight. And to add on, there will also be a special airdrop later from one of the projects that is, I think they just listed a couple of days back, or maybe they are getting listed next week. This project is called Cube. So Cube Network will be doing a few airdrops throughout the whole show as well. So for those of you who are tuning in from the app, yeah, I see a lot of people going like, Cube is the future, Cube. So I saw this joke, I think it was quite good. One guy was saying like, do you know what is the shape of the moon? And then he went on like, the answer is cube.
Cube.
Like, whoa, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be airdrop tokens that will be dropping out in the app itself. So do tune into the app if you're watching from YouTube, or if you're watching from Facebook. Do tune into the app, download the app, get verified, get free airdrop tokens, guys. I do not get it, so get it on my behalf. I would greatly appreciate it. So let's get the show started, right? So we all talk about how rocky, how shaky the market is right now. Things are pretty bleak, and I believe it's just the beginning. I think the worst is yet to come, right? So I think Arthur already shared, like, you think it's a semi good and a bad thing, because you get projects that are not delivering value to the world getting washed out, which I totally agree with you, right? Because we have projects like I don't know, like Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, like these coins do not function. They do not have a utility per se. The utility is really after the coin is created, and they're like, oh, we can do this with this coin as well. So these are one of the things that I look for in a bear market, is when people start selling off their I would want to say shit coin. But I think that category is very relative, right? Like everyone has their own version of shit coins. So one other thing that we see happen this week, right, or maybe the last 2 weeks, is that Michael Saylor, the founder of MicroStrategy, is sitting on a paper loss of 1 to 1.2 billion, right? So that is the scary thing when you do margin and do leverage, right? So MicroStrategy currently owns about 130,000 Bitcoin with an average buy price of $30,700.
Right.
So one thing we noticed in the beginning of 2022 and up to now is that we see more and more institutional people coming in, or companies coming in, purchasing and owning Bitcoins. So I think right now there's about 27 companies that owns Bitcoin, and not all of them are in the blockchain space. So we have like MicroStrategy, we have Tesla that bought a little bit of Bitcoin. So from your perspective, do you think that this is a good thing or a bad thing, because more and more institutions are buying and accepting Bitcoin, and by doing so, the one positive I see is that it legitimizes Bitcoin as a form of currency, right? And people tend to accept it more. But on the other side, right, on the other side of the coin is that you get institutions who have loads of cash buying Bitcoin and then making it less decentralized in some way or rather, right? So what do you guys think? Like do you think it's better to have institutions coming in because they legitimize it, or do you think is there should be some control or regulation that they do not do so? So maybe we can start with Arthur.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good question. I the way I see it, into your point, for sure, it legitimizes, or it's made Bitcoin mainstream, right? So this is the thing that we needed, instead of just the small community of retail users, that we need in masses to actually make it, kind of acceptable. And essentially that's what happened, right? The retail wanted it, and eventually the institutions saw that, hey, we can make money from from this, like any other market. So they came in. So there is a give and take, right? That it has brought Bitcoin to a completely different level across all spectrums and all verticals in all different businesses. So I think it's been very helpful, and it's good in that way. And sometimes the way I see, whether or not they have too much control of a large amounts, and being able to I guess, manipulate the market, you can say. It happens anyways. I mean, I guess the way I see it, it doesn't matter if it's crypto or if it's just the NASDAQ or if it's like whales playing in the game. That's what it is. People with a lot of money are able to make huge accumulations and create movement, price action. So that's just how it is. And I mean, that we need to accept that. And whether or not regulation comes in and, how things move towards decentralization, I think that'll make it really interesting, honestly. I mean, you're expanding the amount of participants in around the world in a very different manner, not just isolated to like one country's market. So I think to me, I think it kind of legitimizes everything as a currency. Although Bill Gates will never say, will never support it. Bill Gates is, oh man, it's got no intrinsic value, just pure demand from the community is not enough, right? So, but I guess yeah, those are my thoughts.
Right. So just funny thing, right? Bill Gates mentioned this, but I think just yesterday or the day before, he retired Internet Explorer because he realized that he lost to Chrome. Yeah. Internet Explorer is dead. Like. Right. So Roshan. So just to add on to a bit onto Arthur's point, right? So he covered like it legitimizes it. So now the question that I have for you is that if these companies are buying it, and right now, so MicroStrategy and Tesla, they both combined, they own 1% of the whole Bitcoin supply now. Like, do you think this is a big issue for people who are still looking to hold on to Bitcoin? Because I would like to say that every time when there is an institution touching something, it kind of turns it into a poison fruit, right? So like right now, Bitcoin is getting manipulated heavily. So what are your thoughts on that, man?
I think that is actually a big problem because I think everyone noticed during the bull market there was so many tweets by Elon Musk about it gave him the power to actually manipulate because people knew that he actually owned that many Bitcoins. So he had that trust that he actually is supporting Bitcoin because he owns that many. So the power that he got now, he actually kind of misused it because he would tweet a meme and it could actually move the market significantly just by not even stating any context. It's how you interpret it. It could be good, it could be bad, but any tweet he made, he could move the market. Yeah. So giving one man that kind of power in the crypto space is very scary because I myself at one point woke up one morning thinking, why did he have to tweet that? Because I myself lost money for what he did. It pissed me off because like I can't believe that a meme can make millions lose and move the market. That is just out of the world. So institutions having that much of power in the market, it's inevitable because like Art said, they already have a lot of money in the market. They are able to actually do it, and anywhere there's an opportunity to make money, that's where they will be.
Yeah.
But it's also hard because there is no regulations yet. So like you were saying, I think honestly, in time to come, there will be regulations, definitely. That it's unavoidable, right? But I think it's really important that the regulations are keeping these companies in check. Like, checking on what they tweet, it could be something that could help, Like, what are they tweeting? What are they doing? Not changing the market just on what they want, because it's just crazy because this didn't happen back in 2017, back in 2018. No one would just try to manipulate the market by tweets. Bitcoin was famous, but it was not that famous. So now you can see the big difference because of institutions coming in, how much of control they have. So it's not really that good in my opinion. It's good because people get the trust from them. They are big companies, they don't want to lose money. So they investing in crypto is giving us support that, okay, you know what, crypto is something good. But at the same time, they misusing it is also giving us the fear that, okay, now what's going to happen? Are they going to pull out? And if they pull out, what's going to happen to all of us?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
It's
kind of why Elon wanted to buy Twitter, right? so that no one can control him, right?
Exactly.
Right. So let's just move on a little bit. So I think this week in Singapore we had a pretty exciting week with crypto. And we know that we can kind of feel recession coming in, right? So Crypto.com was one of the, I mean, they are one of the biggest brands we know, right? Crypto.com, they bought the stadium, they bought the naming rights for the stadium. They have the Crypto.com card. They have LeBron James in the advertisement. They have Matt Damon. They have a Super Bowl. They have a whole lot of money to spend, right? And recently, I think they just announced that they have laid off about 260 staff. I think most of them are probably based here in Singapore and then around the region as well. And then before this, we have Coinbase laying off staff. We have Gemini laying off staff. I think Gemini was laying off about 10%. Coinbase was about 10%, if I'm not wrong. And do you think with the current market conditions right now and companies laying off, right, is somewhat like a sign of recession, but it's happening in the crypto tech space right now. And I think what they're doing now is to cut heads or to lay off to ensure that the company survives or to keep the company afloat. And I deem this as the great layoff, right? Which is pretty scary, because imagine one day you have your favorite exchange saying that they are firing people, then you start worrying like, oh wait, is the exchange not able to support the staff and to provide the same service that I used to have, and that is why they're firing people, so that they can they have more money to tide through the bear market. Do you think this is causing a little bit more FUD? Maybe we can hear from Roshan first.
Okay, I think it definitely is causing more FUD, because any sort of news about exchanges laying off and all this is going to cause panic among people not trusting the exchanges, pulling out from exchanges, and it overall just creates a bad impression in the whole market. Just one of many things. But in my honest opinion, I think, unfortunately, I don't think it's something the companies can avoid, because the market happens to be in a cycle. So when it's in a bull cycle, everything is inflated. Prices are high, people are transacting more people are in the space, and I think they need way more staff than they needed in the bear market to like kind of accommodate for everything that's going on. But then what happens when the bear market comes, a huge amount of people will then leave the crypto space, activities go down, transactions go down, everything goes down, and then again they have to resize it back down to what they can accommodate for. But I think it's something that will kind of not be avoidable, at least for now, till this whole bull run bear market kind of reduces in intensity, because the bull run, the bear market actually has a huge, like a 90% crash that can happen. So in time to come, we know that maybe it will reduce, and that when that happens, then maybe this can be avoidable. But I think FUD is definitely coming, and it's just adding fuel to a flame already. And it's sad, but I think it's something that the companies cannot avoid. It's might as well they do that than completely lose everything and lose the company and unable to actually provide any service at all to the people. So yeah.
Right. Arthur, what are your thoughts, man? Do you think that we are gonna have a recession in the crypto space? I mean, we are in a bear market. Stock market is in a bear market.
Yeah,
Next thing you want to have is the next thing in line is gonna be recession, right? With high inflation, low growth. Yeah. So what are your thoughts, man?
Well, okay, so when I always compare this to the last bear market, and when I look at the cuts, you mentioned, actually rightfully so, this is just the beginning, right? But when I see, if you look at it logically, crypto cut 260 workers, that's 5% of the workforce, right? 10% at Gemini. BlockFi has about 20%, which is a little bit bigger. But it's not just because of crypto. If you think about the companies are in the crypto space, they're holding crypto. And if you look at what's going on in the crypto market, obviously they're losing money, right? It's not like they're a crypto company holding all this fiat, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to put some logic behind it, but then people actually never really look into it. They just say, oh my gosh, what does it mean? And they think about all the other stuff, the other factors, the things with the Celsius network. Oh, my money is going to be locked up. Where should I keep it, right? Should I keep it on cold storage? And like, there's that. And then there's the Luna Terra thing, which has caused a lot of doubts as well. So if you think about the strongest products that were out in the market, like yield products, right? And then stable coins, if those are impacted, I would imagine this time around compared to last time, it's a total different comeback. And then to me, someone had asked me the same thing as well. I actually don't think it's going to come back this year. It might bounce back a little bit, but it won't really feel strong and healthy. It's probably going to be sometime next year. So I do believe it's going to be recession.
Right. So so interesting enough, right? So Luna was one of the topics we're going to talk about as well. So let's just jump there. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty interesting. So personally, right, I feel that that the crash was because of Luna. It was because of UST
Yeah.
depegging,
Yeah.
and that set off a chain reaction that caused everything to topple. So
Yeah.
I do have Luna as well. I had I think I had like maybe like 6,000 worth of Luna in the validator. So I was stuck, right? Because you have the unbonding period if you're in the validator. So I thought I was doing a good thing by supporting the network. But everybody that was in Luna got rugged too. So
Yeah.
did you guys lose money with Luna? Like did you lose a whole ton of money there? Or are you guys affected?
Oh, not effective for me.
Oh,
Not even.
what?
Yeah.
You guys don't hold Luna? Oh my god. Gosh, so I'm the biggest loser in this chat now.
Sorry.
Yeah, but okay, but to be fair, I think the Luna the Terra ecosystem was pretty interesting because we had Astropod that gives you a derivative of Luna to stake, and then we have Mirror Protocol. So unfortunately, Mirror Protocol went through the same thing as Luna. Everything went to zero, right? So that is kind of depressing, but I'm glad you guys didn't hold Luna, man. Like not even UST, they were giving 20% a year.
Yeah, I know it sounds nice. It was one of those things that was, I didn't chase after that one. I went to other places. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So on the subject of Luna, right? So what happened is because Docon launched Luna 2.0. So if you're holding Luna previously, you will get airdropped the new Luna token, right? And unfortunately, that token is also tumbling down the road. But if you guys want airdrops, for those in the chat right now, I think we might have another airdrop coming on soon. So if you guys are watching the chat, you guys are watching the stream, look out for the box that will appear on your screen. You guys just focus on the 100 USDT. I don't think you.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah. So I think the airdrop will come on very soon for the audience. Let them win something, right? So
Yeah.
so let's talk about Bitcoin. So just before we went live, I think we touched a little bit on this where I had my concerns about the Bitcoin network, because now it's no longer profitable to mine Bitcoin, right? I think based on calculation, if you're using the top of the tier machines, you're probably losing like $10 to $15 a day just on electricity. And we haven't accounted for the machine itself because the machine is like 10,000-20,000 as well. So and for those of you that are watching, why these miners are important, because they are the ones that create the blocks, they are the one that approves the transactions, and by doing so, these miners do get a reward in Bitcoin, and they have to solve puzzles to actually approve the blocks on the blockchain network. So what happened here is that, let's say if Bitcoin continues falling, one of my fear is that miners will just start turning off their machines because I'm losing $10 a day. It's $300 a month. Unless I have a lot of cash to splash, then that's a whole different story, right? But if you are just a normal man on the street with a couple of miners, I think that will be quite detrimental. So what are your thoughts? Do you think we will come to a stage where we have like lesser miners approving networks, approving transactions, and then when that happens, it might take even longer time for our transactions to go through, because right now Bitcoin network is like 20-30 minutes for a transaction, and we have so much computing power, right? And when these miners start turning off their machines, do you think we'll fall into a situation where transaction can take days? You think it will take a couple of days to transact Bitcoin, to transfer like 2 Bitcoins? Or do you think gas fee will go really high? Like my bet is that gas fees will go really high. I think because there was an update on the network where you can just tip your miner, right? The more gas fee you pay, the faster it goes through, right? Do you think it's gonna be a situation where we go back to the traditional finance where we have to remit money and then we pay a fee? It's gonna be cheaper that way than transacting Bitcoin.
Well, they definitely, I would imagine there's got to be some other reward mechanism. If they want to continue mining, they got to pay for the cost, as you said. It just doesn't make sense. And I think I had a bunch of friends mining back in the days, and they stopped after the last halving because it just doesn't make sense, right? It's just too much effort. And I think well, the other side of things would be really interesting because with the merge happening on Ethereum, right, and going to proof of stake, and the noise it's making to the environmentalists out there on all this power surge is really interesting how all this is going to turn out, right? Because there's a lot of competing factors of what could push Bitcoin a different direction, right? But for sure, I think more miners in the next halving, they'll exit, more will exit, and unless something else is there to incentivize, and then like we just said, paying fees, it sounds like a very likely outcome, right? So and it may kind of get pretty ugly because the miners can kind of control have the control,
right.
and then maybe it will change the market a little bit. So the miners are willing to still do it if they're incentivized enough.
Right.
But then that's gonna be a weird setup, right? Because then how are you gonna compete? Like miners are gonna compete against each other, right?
Right.
On cost, which it's gonna get ugly, right? Or like you're kind of like the wealthier people are going to be able to push things through, and there'll be a lot of brokers. So there'll be brokers and mini brokers, kind of like how payment systems work today, right?
Yep.
It feels like that's what would happen, right? So,
Right. Roshan, what do you think? Do you think fees will go sky high again, like what Arthur mentioned, like brokers after brokers, like there are so many middlemen now, right? Everyone
Yeah.
taking a little bit from that, and then
Yeah, I think definitely, because like Arthur said, it is going to be so many people leaving the mining space because of not of how unprofitable it is going to be for them. Because yes, I mean many people do believe in Bitcoin, so some people tend to just mine whole. They don't mind taking up costs now maybe for Bitcoin to go up, but there are also people living day to day, and they don't want to wait few years before they actually take the profit. So then they need something that pays them every day, which they might just actually go and mine something like Litecoin, something like Ethereum, where it may be more profitable for them to do that than to mine Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, it would be a balance, because then when more people leave, then transaction fee goes sky high. Then the people who stay would actually earn much more, so they would continue mining. But that would be the balance, the equilibrium that will come sooner or later. When the amount of people leave, the fees go sky high, and then at least the people who are actually staying are people who are earning from the fees, which is enough for them to stay. So
Right.
then it's just at a point where there's this many people of miners, this much of fees that we have to pay, and you just got to get accustomed to the high fees and longer transaction times that might just, like you said, take days. So yeah.
Right. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
like Ethereum all over, right? $80,
All
$80 of gas. Like, oh, wait a second, just to mint, I gotta pay $80 when the NFT is less than the gas fees. Like, oh,
And the worst part is when it fails and you still pay fees.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and you get stuck, you have to pay fees again to unclog it. So you end up paying like 3 fees, like to just get a mint, you might have to do it 3 times, right?
Yeah. NFT might just be $5. So.
So just now Arthur talked a little bit about Celsius, right? I think that is one of the biggest hits. So
Yeah.
I think it went down like 75, almost 80-90% overnight, because they were insolvent, right?
Yeah.
So something I understand, and I did a bit of research, is that they were not insolvent because they had no more cryptos or because the market crashed. They were insolvent because their positions on crypto, they were all staked somewhere. So like, for example, if you are staking Ethereum for ETH 2.0, you can do it through Lido, for example, right? A DeFi. But then there is some unlocking time. So I think what they were afraid of is that people started withdrawing all at once, and then it becomes a bank run, right? Because they don't have enough liquidity to fulfill that.
Yeah.
And then so there was another platform that I used that also give yields like that, which is Finblock. And unfortunately, those guys have investors under from 3 Arrow Capital.
Yeah.
So 3 Arrows right now is kind of like insolvent, right? So these guys probably got margin call really badly, that they have no cash to top up, or they are unable to pay up what people have given them. So this is something that affected me a lot, because I'm a very proof of stake person. I only have a miner at home that is mining Helium tokens, and that's the only miner I have. But I do have a few POS tokens that I'm holding, and I do enjoy POS because I think it's really simple. you don't have to have a lot of capital. You don't have to purchase a whole ton of coins. You can start with like $10, $20, that kind of thing. So with that, right, do you think that right now, with all these big firms who are very much leveraged or probably have a lot of margin, or might get liquidated in the near future, right? How much more liquidations do you think we'll see? So our market cap right now on the crypto space, right, is at $904 billion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that that number will? Do you think we'll hit the 800 range, or maybe we'll go even down to like 500 range? Okay, so extreme situations, you know, we can go like 400. We can go another halfway more, right? So where do you guys see the market cap going on in maybe until, let's say, end of the year, 6 months from now, in December 20? Yeah. I mean, people were predicting that December 2022, 100K Bitcoin, right? From what it looks like, from what it seems now, it's like 5x. I think 5x is okay. It's not tough, but it's not easy as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you think the money is headed now? Like everyone's getting liquidated. How much more liquidations do you think we'll see? It's a wild guess, not financial advice.
Yeah. I mean, I think for sure there'll be more liquidation. I think these big houses, they won't say anything until you won't find out that they were in trouble until after they announced it, right? And in all bear markets, it usually happens, right? Oh yeah, everyone tries to stay positive. We're good. Celsius says we're good, but then later on says, well, due to extreme market conditions,
right,
we had to liquidate more, right? So that's why I usually. In historically, this is what usually happens. So I do expect a lot more. You take a wild guess. I mean, if it's at 9 now, I would say 7 sub 7s, 700. I would think at least. That's not a lot. I would. I don't know, but I think it's gonna be a lot more than we realize. It's just these things take time. And they'll hold on to it. They'll hold on to the money. They'll try to scrape money to make
just
things.
Just in. We are at 892 right now.
I'll readjust that to 65.
Yeah. I mean, you could go on CoinMarketCap right now. We are at 892.
Yeah, I know. Shit, man. But that's what I'm thinking. For sure, it's not over.
Just before we move to Roshan, right? So there was this guy on chat. I think let me see his comment. I think this guy Cowboy XXL, he says that 3AC, which is the 3 Arrow Capital, right? Their liquidation price for Ethereum is at 1014, which I think we are like dangerously close to, but we probably haven't reached it yet. Now Ethereum's at 1077, right?
Yeah.
Like we are like really close to it.
No, it's gonna hit, man. It's gonna hit.
Yeah, man.
It's just a matter of time, lah. When is it gonna happen? We might just wake up by the end of this live. It might just happen. Actually, we're at that situation of the market right now.
Right. So Roshan, what do you think? What's the market cap you see by I mean, I don't think you're a fortune teller. I don't expect you to be one. But what do you think the market cap is gonna be by end of the year 2022? I mean, by then we could probably have another show and say, hey Roshan, you're wrong. Hey Art, you're wrong. No, we are way past 3 trillion again. Then we could be back at 3 trillion. It could be. That's just a 3x.
Correct.
So you and what do you think? 3 trillion?
Honestly, I think maybe 4 trillion. You know what? No, just joking. Yeah, definitely.
That confidence, man. That confidence is all you needed.
That's all you need, lah. But yeah, I think honestly, 600 billion. That is where we might just be heading, in my opinion, or even lower, honestly, because even the stock market is going down, the crypto is going down, and the whole economy is recovering from everything, and it's not looking good everywhere. So I think people are definitely going to see a lot more liquidations happening. Right. Firms, companies, many other crypto projects that are going to go disappearing as well. It's just like how many projects disappeared during the last bull run. Yeah. It's going to happen again. Whether it's not even coins that are not having use, it's actually coins that do have use, but they just can't they can't support themselves during these current situations, which are definitely going to lead to way more liquidations. So yeah, people just got to be ready for this. Ethereum is going to hit that 1071 point. So we just got to be ready and be able to get through it, honestly.
Right. So my friends and I, right, when we chill on a Friday night or a Saturday night, they're like, when Ethereum hits $800, I'm going all in. I'm like, dude, maybe you want to go like 50% first, just in case it goes down to like $8 again. You know, at least you could just go all in then. So
Yeah.
Cowboy XXL, right? He from the chat, he says that some of the biggest holding from 3AC includes Near, AVAX, Solana, etc. And it
Yeah.
looks really bad. So I think Solana's really bad. It's like $20+ now. AVAX as well. I mean they have pretty good. I think the technology is good. Like they are really
Yeah.
fast. They are really
Yeah.
fast. They are really cheap, but yeah, man, like the moment, like I think like they say, right, all tides move all boats, right? Like everyone goes
Right.
in together, so
Yeah.
it
No
is
one
what
has
it is.
seen Bitcoin's rat, honestly. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let's say right now, right, since the market cap is already like 800 each, right? So what are some risk management tips or tricks that you guys have to manage your own risk? I believe both of you own some crypto.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there any risk management that you guys are taking, or are you guys like stabling out, hedging with future contracts, or I don't know, man. I'm just holding. I don't trade. I'm very bad at trading. I've lost money trading. I'm not a good trader, so I just do nothing and just hold my coins. How about like what about you guys? Like Roshan, what are you doing right now with your coins or with your tokens or whatever?
So before this, actually, when the market, because if you look at the technical side of it, there was an indication that we might see a further crash from the previous high. So from that point onwards, when we did kind of confirm, I did kind of take out like 50% of my crypto into USDT. And when the crash continued, I did move more into USDT. Like around 75% of my portfolio now is in USDT. The only coins that I'm holding still is coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I think, if I'm mistaken, was Litecoin. But Litecoin is just a very little amount. Bitcoin, Ethereum mainly, because at the end of the day, even it crashing wouldn't affect my portfolio so badly compared to all coins. So now the only strategy for me is USDT. You can stake it on Huobi, so that gives you good return while you wait. And in my opinion, now is the best time to dollar cost average in. So yes, I mean, buying today, Ethereum might be cheaper tomorrow, but at the end of the day, we never know when is the bottom. We might all just be wrong, and tomorrow Ethereum starts going up, and then we're gonna be like, damn, why didn't we buy at least a bit for this, you know? So we never know, but most likely, logically, it's gonna go down now. So honestly, it's just dollar cost averaging in whatever cash that I'm having, just split it accordingly. Don't dump it all one shot, because you never know the bottom. Buy it periodically, in my opinion. That gives you the best price, that to reduce your overall average buying price. So that is a good thing. And also, most people, I realize, the most important thing that they don't know or they don't follow is to have an exit strategy whenever they invest in crypto, because you are not going to invest forever. It's definitely, you do have a takeout at some point of time, but having to know when to take out, having a strategy for it, lets you reduce your risk tremendously before having to face a bear market. Because you can't just be like, okay, you know what, I think the top is here, I'm going to take out everything at this point, because most of the time it will crash before that point and you are too late and your account has gone on tremendously compared to you being able to take it out periodically on top. So that is an important fact. Another thing is, while I'm still having my USDT, I also do trade futures, because I feel like that is where I started my passion for. It was in trading. So while I still did make losses from the whole crypto market going down, I try to recover them by making futures trades, because I believe now, since the bear market has been confirmed ever since this Luna issue, it gives me a better perspective that overall the market sentiment is just very bearish. So the probability of finding a short trade is much better than a long trade, in my opinion, right now. So it gives me a clearer picture, because Bitcoin was at a price point where we didn't know whether it was going to go up, it's going to go down. The sentiment was very neutral. Some people was bearish, some people was bullish. But ever since the Luna thing happened, it was like 90% the market is bearish. So overall gives me a better, clearer view of being able to spot out trades that are giving me profits from futures. So overall, it's just combination of things: staking, trading, and just having a proper buy-in price for coins. Yeah.
Right. Arthur, what's your strategy, man?
Okay, this is a strategy that I think everyone should think about. Strategy number one: don't don't let your emotions play you. Do not let your emotions take over and make decisions because you're so scared, right? Don't let that happen. Number two is actually take care of yourself. So you look at everyone's situation is different. It is like we were talking about beyond just crypto. So people may lose their jobs, right? I mean, they're dependent on, like I said, if you got some crypto, you might want to hold it, move it out just in case of that rainy day, right? Allocate a smaller portion, and that's just life. I think just as an investor, that's why I think a lot of people are liquidating, but also liquidate some. So some for myself, there's some coins that I was holding long term. I popped them off because I think I was. I guess the other thing to remove outside of emotions is hope. If you're hoping it's going to recover the next day, remove that, forget it. And that's what I mean by the emotions is like, I think last time when, I remember I had some, the last time when Bitcoin was at around 60, over 60, right? I was like, oh, I'm not going to sell it. I'm all right, right? And I never say, oh, I could have caught it, but it's just one of those things that it's bad. You've gone through it again, so you got to make a call, right? So I actually got rid of a lot of my positions on everything because I'm waiting, and because I got in much earlier. So for me, I still made money overall because I was also like doing dollar cost averaging. So now it's setting a new sort of like foundation in my portfolio, and actually I'm kind of starting from scratch. And it's a good point. That's why I'm actually quite excited to me. So I think that those are my risk management tips. It really is to take care of yourself first and your own, like you've got debts, pay that off. Don't think, and I'm just saying out there because I've met people that are like, oh yeah, I did pretty well in the market and I spend a little bit more money on this. Let's say they bought something, right? Or I planned for this trip and then all the markets are going down and they're like, oh shit, I paid for this already. I'm just saying that's what the stories I hear. So I think that's definitely my thing. Just take care of yourself first. And then and stockpile your money where you need to at a comfortable level.
Right. So for me, I'm just holding cash, right?
Yeah.
I do have a small series on my YouTube channel where I buy like $1,000 of crypto every single month. Where I buy the top 10 crypto, right? I think, brainless move. Like you just buy the top 10, you will not fail. It's like buying it's like buying VO in the stock market, but you're just doing it yourself. You are creating your own crypto ETF. So that didn't work well because of Luna. It took out a big chunk of it, but. But so I'm doing a little bit of what you guys are both saying, right? So I'm still DCing every month with that portfolio, and that's the only portfolio I do, which is the sum of money that I'm comfortable putting in, and I will not lose sleep over, which I think is taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So this is where you guys start to earn that 100 USD that we talked about, right? So there's the question that we just went through was just a practice. So right now, we need you to give just one piece of advice or like that one last closing statement that you have, right? What is the best way to protect yourself in the bear market? Okay, so I will type it as you. I mean, I will try to capture main points, and So I'm gonna capture main points. And the way you win this, right, is where the audience in the chat, they get to vote. So they can either vote for Arthur or they can either vote for Roshan, and the one with the most votes wins 100 USDT. So these votes will it will go over for a week. I think the winner will be announced maybe next week, and it will also be in your community pages. So I believe both of you have your own community pages on the Huobi app. So for those of you who are listening in, vote for either Roshan or Arthur, but after they say their piece, right? Let them have their last speech, their closing statement. $100 on the line, man. Okay, so the question again is and I think it's a very important question for today because we are navigating the bear market, right? It could be the beginning, it could be almost the end, no one knows. But so I was the one that actually thought of these topics because I think that is something that I enjoy doing. I love to pass on education, I love to pass on content. Definitely I might not be the smartest guy in the room here, but I think everybody has a little bit of what they feel is best and everybody here in this chat room right now, situations are all different, experiences are all different. So we share what we know to the best of our knowledge as well. So the best way to protect yourself in the bear market, what is the best way to do it? We're just gonna go with like one main point, right? We're not gonna play shit like, oh, you're gonna mix like point 1, point 2, point 3 together. No.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go with one main point. Maybe Arthur, you wanna go first?
Okay. How to best protect yourself in a bear market? I'm going to keep it really simple, and it's just keep a level head. As I said, no emotions, don't hope, just keep a level head. Look at the technical aspects of a coin and whether or not it's got traction, and if you either believe in it or not. Get on the bus or get off the bus. That's it.
All right, believe in it or not. Okay, so Roshan, so before you start, right? So let me rehash Arthur's one again, right? Arthur's one is keep a level head. No emotion, no hope. It's either you're on the bus of the coin or you're off the bus. Okay, so Roshan, so what's yours?
Okay, all right. So my advice would be to kind of stay consistent. No matter what happens in the market, never let it disrupt your investment strategy, your own aim, your outlook on the market, your overall long-term aim. Don't let that get disrupted by anything you see in the market. Stay consistent, stay focused throughout the bear market, and you will be fine.
Right. So I do agree with both of your points. I think it's something that I talked about on my YouTube channel as well. I think the video's going out next week or something like that. So I believe, like, I agree with Roshan that I myself have my own investment plan. What stocks I'm buying every single month, what crypto I'm buying every single month, and I'm not buying the dip at all, because to me there is no such thing as a dip. This dip could be the dip of the dip of the dip, or like you buy it and then it dips and then you buy it, but you see it's a never ending cycle, right? It's an endless rabbit hole, and you are limited by the amount of money you have as well, which is tied back to your income, and then if you don't perform because you are stressed of the market, you lose your job, and then it's a whole new problem, right?
Yep.
And while I stick to my investment plan, I also have this strategy of being emotionless. So every month, on a certain date, I just buy. Without emotion, I just buy. Whatever price it is, I'm just gonna enter because, like you said, on the bus or off. Yep. So all right. So the last two statements that the Roshan and Arthur has, right? So for Roshan is to stay consistent, stick to your investment plan, and for Arthur is to keep a level head, keep the emotions up. No emotions is either you believe in the coin or you are not believing the coin at all. So with that, I think we should end the session. We have been talking for almost an hour. I do owe you guys a drink. It has been almost an hour. I do owe you guys a drink. If I do visit Hong Kong, I will hit you up, Arthur. If I do hit up KL, I will let you know as well, Roshan. So for all of you that are watching, these two beautiful speakers. Okay, that sounded better in my head. That sounded a lot better in my head.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. So for the two gentlemen here in the chat room, they do have their own live streams on the app itself. I'm not sure when are your next live streams. Maybe you wanna give a shout out. Roshan, when's yours? Have you planned yours yet?
I have not planned mine yet, but it would be sometime next week.
Right. How about Arthur?
Yeah, I'm usually Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can tune in to Arthur. You can listen to what he has to share. I think Roshan, because you just finished your personal stuff, he's coming back on track. So this is where you guys gonna work hard, man. Like they have until next week to do the votes, right? So you might want to buy some brownie points throughout this week. I mean, it's free money up for grabs. Go get it, man. Go get it. So thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it a lot. 1 hour of talking. I owe you guys a drink when I hit up your country. And for those who are watching, don't forget to vote. Do visit their community pages as well. Arthur Lee and Roshan, just is under everyday dollar.
Everything.
Everything dollar making. Is that your channel name here as well?
Yep.
Right. So do hit Roshan up on everything dollar making and Arthur Lee on the Huobi app. And thank you guys so much for watching. Keep the likes coming in. Oh guys, we had like 195,000 likes, man. If only that was the price of Bitcoin. If only that was the price of Bitcoin, I'll be so happy right now. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks,
Yep.
guys.
All right.
Good. All right. Take care, man.
Take
Bye.
care, man.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.